Mr. Robert Mitchum. How do you feel? Feels pretty good. You know, the only thing that bothered me was I was telling Doc, having not done it, I didn't really know what to expect. You know, I didn't know what the feeling would be with your...
You think the fellow might be a trickster?
Well, you never know. You know, something would go wrong, and the air would go the wrong way, and...
Guy who auditioned... I was going to say, guy who auditioned by jumping through a window.
Did that happen once? Somebody...
Yeah, he did. Didn't he just say
By
that?
climbing around and climbing out on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
You ever been injured doing anything in your pictures? You've done a lot of hairy things in pictures.
A few times I get chipped up, but I have seen people injured.
Yeah.
You know, because some of those hairy things get, I mean, they can go awry.
The guys
I'm sure you thought of that while you were just sitting there and maybe...
That's the only... I wasn't trying to do it for dramatic effect. I said I hadn't felt what this is like, and I didn't know whether it was going to be one big blast or whether you were going to be eased off of it. You're not eased off of it. You're gone right now. It's nice to have you here. We see each other out occasionally at the various functions. I know you don't do television shows very often. Is it just something you don't particularly... you don't need it, obviously.
Nobody asked?
Oh, come on now.
No, it was really, it's always at the wrong time, you know. I mean, I have another plan for a Friday night or for a Thursday night. If I could choose the night myself, you know, some future...
Really?
Sure.
What's a good night for you? We have a lot of days open here. If you want to, we can fill in your dance card the rest of the year, you know.
I'll have to check it out.
You're going to check it out.
Yeah.
I just found out the other day my wife Joanne, I didn't notice because you didn't live too far from us. And if you really kind of moved location out of Los Angeles, moved down to permanently in Santa Barbara.
Montecito, yeah.
And which is a
Slipped away in the night.
beautiful part of the country. Any particular reason?
No, we were just, I thought I'd like to find a house that I could get away from, you know, because the other house, it was like living in the Bank of America, really. It was a big vault, I mean, just the two of us.
Right.
And all the time I was away, I kept thinking about that house sitting there just grinding away, you know, and it defeated me. So I thought I should get something a little easier to get away from. I don't remember really what this house looks like, as a matter of fact. Of course, the first thing you do is buy a reduced, a smaller house, and then enlarge it.
Yeah. Isn't that always the thing people say, you know, this is so big, we got to keep it up. And you work on location a lot, and I'm sure you said, well, look, we're away a lot. Then you buy a smaller place and say, we better add on.
Right, they've been hammering and thumping ever since I've been done it.
Are you in an area where, at least here in Los Angeles, in the neighborhood where people are, I guess, more used to seeing somebody in the entertainment world, are you in an area where people really don't bug you, leave you alone? Can you walk out and...
Well, it's pretty social, and there seems to be sort of an endless round of parties.
Yeah.
And if you can avoid that, you know, if you can, it's not easy, because it's a lot of liver cases up there. And I tell you, that's where...
At parties,
you run into people.
Parties.
Heather Angel.
Yeah.
Judith Anderson, Dame Judith Anderson.
I didn't know she lived there.
Oh, yeah, a lot of classy people up there. Joan Cohen Harvey, right up the street from us, and Susie Parker.
So do you manage to avoid the party circuit, or do you...
Well, I go to the quieter ones. Lighten them up a little.
The more genteel.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a wild orgy at Dame Judith Anderson's house. I mean,
No, not on it.
Oh, I see.
Don't you?
My fool, you, huh?
Yeah.
I had a question on my mind. I'm going to throw a curve at you. I'm going to ask you a question, and I hope you don't mind it. But in lieu of what's going on nowadays in the liberalization of what's happening, I'm talking about pot.
Oh, good.
And I don't know how many people remember, but a good number of years ago, earlier in your career, it is now legal in California to possess an ounce or less of marijuana for your personal use. But years ago, when it was considered, you know, I guess next to taking, I don't know what, you were arrested for having possession of a couple of...
Conspiring to possess.
Conspiring to possess. What year?
Hey, man, how about we go, you know...
In other words, you were conspiring to get some marijuana cigarettes.
That's what they said.
Yeah. Well, what happened? I mean, how did that affect you at the time? And it's a long time ago, but it...
Well, it didn't affect me greatly. I was largely surprised because anyone knew who it was. You know, if you put in the paper Schwartz does it, nobody buys the paper. They say Mitchum does it, whop, you know. And,
Right.
and I'm sitting up there in high power at the county jail, and they said, you mean to tell me that you don't know that people know who you are? And it was a big surprise to me. Truly.
No.
Really. And there was a very long and involved story. And finally, in order to keep it all cool, I said, well, I'll do 6 months on this ear. I said, if it's any more than that, I'll discuss it. So I said, he has to go and he has to go. There were two miscreants who arranged this thing. And they said, they're going, one state and federal, and they went. So I got 2 years, and on the condition that I do 60 days, so I did 60 days. And up at the Honor Farm mainly, it was like Palm Springs without the riffraff.
Are there any vacancies? I think.
Not too bad, they remember me.
The only reason I brought it up because in those days it was considered, you know, I mean, the average person would read that and they'd say it was almost a scandal. Today, it's absolutely nothing. And in retrospect, it seems kind of
I
silly.
think they really just pretended it was a scandal at that time, you know, because I remember I just came back from Atlanta, Georgia, and they said, man, they said all around this place, all back there, all those farmers smoke that mullet weed. You know?
Yeah.
They said it's cheaper than store tobacco, and it's better for you.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, I used to call it engine tobacco.
Engine tobacco.
Raise my own.
Raise my own.
Yeah.
Did it do anything?
Yeah, made you giddy.
No, I don't mean that. No. I hadn't finished the sentence, Bob. Did it do anything to your career at that time when it was considered?
Well,
I was like, hey, we can't touch Mitchum, you know, he spent 60 in jails and
they
they
struck my name from the Eagle Scout list, and a few things. No, not really, I don't think. I mean, people didn't drive their children off the streets when they saw me coming. But I must say, it expanded my circle of acquaintances and friends.
Okay, let me take a break. We'll be right back.